Hello, today I will be doing a video on the IRI data class and rule library. So first things first, what is a data class? A data class is a way to help identify and find PII within whatever data you may have, which can include files, databases, structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. There are two portions to a data class. One is finding the PII, and the other is what masking or other job is done to that PII once it's found. Let's go ahead and get started. So in order to do so, we're going to go ahead and go into our Project Explorer, and we're just going to create a new project by going to File, New, IRI Project. We'll go ahead and give this a name, and we'll leave this populate library with data classes ticked on. We'll select Finish. And as you can see here, we now have a new project with our IRI library.dcr lib. We'll go ahead and double click to open that. And as you can see here, we now have our data classes and rules library opened. So let's go ahead and break down exactly what we're seeing. So over here in the library section, we have a few predefined data classes and data class groups for us to use. So the first data class group we have is going to be called names, and then inside of that is full names, and then our data classes of full name, last comma, first name. Moving on to a more general look, we can see that we have these data classes right here, and then we have a rules section. So before we actually go ahead and take a look inside of these, we'll go ahead and create our very own data class. So in order to do so, we're going to go up here to this little icon and select New Data Class. We'll give this a name, whatever we would like, and select OK. And as you can see here, we now have a blank data class. From here, you can edit the name by selecting Edit. Same thing with the description. Here we have a default rule section, which we'll cover in the next video about masking rules. But a quick overview is any rules that we have, we can just apply by doing this drop down and selecting it or creating it right from here. We also have an activate or a deactivate selection. So with this tick, this means that it is activated, and without it, it means it's deactivated, which can be useful just in case any requirements change on your job or database that needs to be masked. Here in the RDB column type filter, you can see different data types, and what these do is these would help you narrow down your search just in case you had a same name as something that you're searching for, but one is one data type and another is a different data type. And moving on to the matcher details, and this is quite the important part. So starting with location matchers, I'll go ahead and pull up my database just to give you a visualization of what's going on. So in order to do so, I'm just going to the Data Source Explorer, connected to my database. I'm inside my database into my schemas, and then I'm just going into a schema and going to a table, right click, Data Sample Contents. So from here, the best way to think about a location matcher, it's going to correlate with the name of a column. So for this location, a customer ID would be the location for it. So we'll go ahead and just put that into practice real quick. So we'll go ahead and add a location matcher, and we'll give this a name of customer ID. You can choose to add a description and the type of a location pattern, which there are a few other types. You can do list file, and then for DarkShield, range, Excel, JSON, or XML, but we'll just stick for location for now. And in the pattern, we're going to do customer underscore ID, just like that. But if you want to go ahead and test to make sure that this works, you'll just click this create button right down here. Again, give it another name, just like that. Description if you'd like, and the actual regex pattern again is just going to go in here, and I'm just going to type it exactly And now for the test sample, we'll go ahead and type in our column name, and you can see here it is matching explicitly on that customer ID, right? And since this is a regex pattern, you're able to customize this for whatever needs you have. But this just gives you a way to test the regex pattern just in case to make sure that it is going to work with your data, or in this case, a location. We'll select OK, and we'll select OK again. And now anytime that we do a DC map, it's going to be looking for this customer ID, which will match on this customer ID right here. So moving on to the data matchers, this is going to be a little different. So instead of looking at the name of a column, we're actually going to be looking at the data itself. So anything with a pattern you can use to help identify. So for example, we'll go ahead and just do the phone number right here. So if we wanted to match on the data inside the phone number, and let's say that we didn't have this column name here, we could just go to add. Again, we'll go ahead and select the create button. We'll give it a name of phone number, and we'll go ahead and put our regex pattern in, which I have one created right here, just like that. And we'll go ahead in our test sample and just make sure that the phone number is going to work. So as you can see here, it is exactly the same, and it's going to be matching on that information. We'll go ahead and just test another one real quick. And as you can see, it matches again. So we'll go ahead and select OK. And our data pattern is now ready to go. We just have to give it a name, just like that, and we'll select OK. Just before we continue along, I'm doing all of this inside of one data class, but it's best practice to make multiple data classes for each item that you want to match upon. And just like in this example, you can use both location and data matchers in unison to better help identify that PII. But we're just going to continue all inside this one data class to make it a little easier for you to see. And inside the data matchers again, we'll go ahead and select add just to show you a little bit more options that are here. So I just gave it a name. We're going to keep it active. And in the type, we can change this data pattern to a set file, again as before. And again for DarkShield, we have an OpenNLP, PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Fuzzy. But for now, let's just go ahead and go into the pattern section, and we'll select Browse. And these are pre-shipped patterns that come with the workbench. So as you can see here, it's done by locality, and we'll just go into Americas, we'll go to US, and you can see a bunch of different patterns that we provide for you. And these are general, but it's a good place to get started if you're looking for things that are more general, like a US phone or a US phone number, US PIN, US social security number, things like that. So I'll just go ahead and search for a credit card. And as you can see here, we have one there. So I'll go ahead and just double click that. And it opens up the pattern editor for us to test and sample if we would like, but I'll just select OK. From here, I can go ahead and do a few things: add, edit, remove, move up, down, import, and export patterns. And again, the edit just brings that up for us. So we'll just select OK for now. And our credit card matcher is here. And I can actually just change this name to better fit the pattern that we have. So since we do have a US credit card, I can actually go into this validator script right here. And I can select Browse, and inside your workspace, there's going to be this validators folder. And you can see here that we do have some sample validators. I can just go into data classes, and this is a credit card validator. So just go ahead and select open, and this is just a JavaScript file that will check and validate to make sure that the credit card numbers are potentially could be real and they're not fake. Because there's no reason to mask a fake credit card if you don't choose to do so. And with the same instance, you can go ahead and just create your own validators by using JavaScript and then importing it into there, just like so. So we'll go ahead and select OK. And we now have that credit card in here. So we'll move on to another data matcher type. We'll just give this one a name of name and a type of a set file. So here, as you can see, there's a few DarkShield only options, but we'll do the path and we'll go ahead and go into our sets, which are shipped as well with the Workbench. So as you can see here, there's a bunch of different set files, which contain a bunch of data that you can use. So if we wanted to match on names, we're just going to go ahead and select names underscore first. And that's going to match on any of the names that we see here. And I'll just pull that up for you really quick. Just like that. So as you can see, all of these names that are inside of here have the potential to be matched on if that data is also inside whatever database or source that we are searching in. So from here, we can actually select OK. And just like that, we've done a file data matcher, we've done a credit card pattern with a validator, and a phone number, which we did our own custom pattern for, and a location matcher, which just matches on the column name. And again, everything is just done through regex patterns, so they're very easily created. And just like that, we're going to go ahead and go into our new data class group, which is next to the new data classes. And what this does is it creates a group of data classes for us to use. So we'll just give this another name. And here we have sensitivity levels. We have commercial, government, and CIS. And here you can also select which groups you want to be included or sensitivity groups you want to be included inside of that data class group. There will be a more in-depth video about this, but for right now, we're just going to go ahead and just create one just for you to be able to see. So here we have our test data class group, which we can apply a default rule just like every other one. And here we have a public, proprietary, private, confidential, and sensitive data class group with all of their own default rules if you would do like. So with that being said, I believe that we have covered a good portion of the data classes and rules library. And this is just to get you a little bit more comfortable and confident using our data classes and rules.